21st of August, Rabbi Furst, Mishna Berura.
Morning again. Okay, good morning again. This is Rabbi Stone First Yeshiva Samanashi Yerushalayim, care of Zoom. This is our second share. We're learning Mishna Berura, Hilchos Rosh Hashanah, Siman Tov Kuf Pei Hey.
Tov Kuf Pei Hey.
Right, Tov Kuf Pei Hey.
Okay.
All right. And we'll be in learn Sif Hey. Sif Hey.
Sif Hey.
Yes.
Sif. Valid. Sif Hey. Anotel.
Yes.
Sachar. Lit Koa. Lis Koa. Berosh Hashana. O Kidei Lehis Palel. O Litsar Game. Bishabasos. Via Mim Tovim. Eino Ro'eh. Me Oso. Schar. Siman Bracha. So if he takes wages, what is lis koa?
To blow the shofar.
To blow on Rosh Hashanah, or in order to pray, or to translate on Shabbos and Yom Tov. He will not see from these endeavors a benefit for good.
Right. From that wage, he's not going to see any benefit from those wages. Scar, those wages.
It's interesting that it says Schar Siman Tov. We could have just said Schar.
One second. Eina roya ma'osa schar siman bracha. Eina roya ma'osa schar siman bracha. You won't see from that wage a siman bracha, a favorable, blessed result.
They could have just said Schar. What does Siman Bracha add to the meaning?
No, I mean he has to see. He's getting paid. The money's going to get in his hands. He's going to get the money from there, right? That he's definitely going to get paid. There's no question he's going to get paid. The question is what kind of outcome is going to result from the usage of that money.
So it's from the pay. He won't have a Siman Bracha. I see.
Yeah. Very good. Okay. There is discussion. We'll see what there's discussion what this means exactly. What does it mean that he doesn't get a siman bracha from it? We'll see if the Mishnah Berurah touches on that point. Yeah, let's see the Mishnah Berurah in Sifkat and Yud Tes.
Okay.
Yud Tes.
I see Yud Tes. Mishna Berurah. Yud Tes. Eino Ro'eh Kule.
Right.
Ayin Le'ayil Yisiman Shav.
Shinvav.
Shinvav. Sif Hey. Uva Mishna Berura Sham.
So, okay, so, all right, so in order, okay, so for that, we actually have to see, if you want, that means we have to take out our chelik, gimel of Mishnah Brewer. If you have it there handy, chelik gimel, Hilchas Shabbos, that's in Hilchas Shabbos.
Anybody get it?
Yeah,
Okay.
This is all right. Oh, that's interesting.
Okay. Where are we here?
so supposed to be supposedly in Shin Vav Sif Hey. Okay, so you have to go to Shin Vav,
Shinvav. I got Shinvav.
so Sif Hey.
If hey. Okay, Asur, these score.
Yes, that's it. You found it there, Mary, in your Gimel of Mishnah.
Not quite yet. Shin Vav, got Shin Vav, and what Mishnah is it on?
Sif Hey.
Sif Hay. Okay, I'm there.
Okay, go ahead.
Zanim lehispalel b'Shabbos v'yesh mi shematid.
Shabbat here. Shabbat here. Forbid.
Shematir.
So it's forbidden to hire chazanim. That's the cantors. You've probably been in a few shuls that have cantors to help sing along with. So it's also to hire them out for prayers on Shabbos. Yesh mishamata. There's an opinion that says it's okay.
And there are those who permit it.
Yes.
Okay, so the Ramah
Yes, please.
im sacharo l'shana o l'chodesh l'chule alma sharei. If the payment, his payment, is for the year
He's hired out by the year, or he's hired out by the month. Meaning
or the month.
you're not hiring him specifically to work for you on Shabbos. You hire him out for the year, and that includes working on Shabbos. You hire him for them on a month to give him a monthly wage, and that includes working on Shabbos. So that, according to all opinions, is going to be permissible if it's done in that fashion. Okay, let's see the Mr. Brewer here. In starting off with Sifkat and Chav Beis, 22.
Lehispalel b'Shabbos mishum shenotel schar b'Shabbos, in order to take reward on Shabbos.
Because why is it usher? Why is it usher? Because he's receiving a wage for doing work on Shabbos. So it's forbidden to take a wage for work to be done on Shabbos. Again, there's nothing forbidden about davening. I mean, you can daven, you can sing. That's something which in itself is permissible. The actual work that he's doing is permissible, right? What's forbidden here is for him to get paid for doing work on Shabbos. So that's what's forbidden over here. So now Chav Gimel, that's going to be if it's an opinion says it's in fact permissible.
Well, those who say it's permissible.
Yes.
Svira le de v'makom mitzvah Lo Gazru Rabbanan Al Schar Shabbos Bezeh. So the logic of it is that in the place of a mitzvah, the rabbis did not make a decree concerning reward on Shabbos for this.
Right. So since this is in the context situation, in context of doing a mitzvah, so when the rabbis rabbinically it became forbidden to get paid for work being done on Shabbos, so this opinion assumes that there was never a gezerah on receiving monies for doing work, permissible work on Shabbos in the situation or the needs of a mitzvah. So therefore, this is the opinion that it's mutter to even receive wages for work performed on Shabbos in the context of a mitzvah.
Mikol Makom, Eno wrote Simon Bracha. Nevertheless, there will not be a blessing from the money that he receives.
Right. So even though it's permissible, right? Even though it's permissible, right? But nevertheless, right? Nevertheless, he won't see a siman bracha from these wages, from these monies.
Uv'chol zeh hu hadin liskor tokea. And with all of this, it is a law. What is liskor tokea?
To hire a person to blow shofar, and the same thing applies. All this, the same laws apply to one who's being hired to blow shofar on, say, in this case, Rosh Hashanah.
Meaning you shouldn't hire them.
Right. Meaning in terms of the siman bracha, this is according to the one that it's a permissible because it's for a mitzvah. But nevertheless, even though it's permissible, but with the monies, whatever those wages will bring in, they're not going to see a siman bracha. So that we need to understand what that means exactly. We're not going to see a siman bracha from that money, but we'll maybe leave that for the time being. We have to finish up a few Mishna Berurahs first.
Mikol Makom Asur Liskor Hachazar Hachazan O Hatokea Bashabat V'Yom Tov.
Gufa. Meaning you can't hire him specifically on the day of Shabbos or the day of Yom Tov. Meaning Rak Me'erev Shabbos. You have to do it before. You can't go to somebody on Shabbos or on Yom Tov and say, I want to hire you for this particular prayers or for these blowing a shofar. It has to all be done beforehand. And even in that case, even according to the ones who say it's permissible, right, still, nevertheless, there won't be what they refer to as a siman bracha.
So what if there's an emergency?
Right.
The Baal Kokea can't blow. Some emergency occurs.
Right.
And the president of the shul goes up to Rabbi Furst because we know that he's an expert on shofarim, and he says, "Listen, go and blow the shofar for the kehila, and don't worry, you'll be taken care of."
Right. So that could be okay. That could be permissible because that's not really being hired. Meaning, based on what he's saying, you can imply that he's going to take care of me. But the acid test would be, could I really make a claim against him in Beis Din? Let's say after Rosh Hashanah he says, You did a great job. We love you. You can do it again next year, but you're not going to get any. We're not going to see any money from this. What you did. Could I take him to Beis Din and actually be extract money from him legally in Beis Din based on his statement? So that's really what it would. That would be the acid test. Meaning, if it's not considered to be such a ironclad business deal that was made on Shabbos, so then it would be permissible. If it's some kind of a statement which is like irrevocable and actually having given me the ability to claim and make a successful claim based in for the wage, then that would probably be forbidden. So you're right. If it was done in some way that indicates that there'll be a reward, but it's not specifically promising a reward, so that most likely would be permissible. We see a similar case if a person's Chas v'Sholom, his house is on fire, right? Person's house is on fire, and he says anyone who comes won't lose out. Where is that exactly?
We can't hear you, Rabbi.
Yeah, I'll try and find it for you. 1 second. We see a similar case of a person's house is on fire. Lo Aleinu. So he says here that's 1 second. But then before he went away from here, let's continue on. I don't want to lose what was our train of thought over here. Let's see the next sif cut in the Mishnah Berura.
Okay, so Rock May Erev Shabbat.
Right, you can only make the deal up with him, meaning before Yom Kippur Shabbos, but not on Shabbos or Yom Tov itself.
Lishana Kulei, yearly. Perush Sheyispalel Gam Biyamos Hachol Shalem Lo Lechodesh O Leshavua Bivas Achas. So he's getting rewarded for praying also on the weekdays, and the pay is monthly or yearly. What is Bavas Achas?
All in one lump sum. It's all one lump sum, and he's not like checking the clock. He's not punching the card, for Yom Khamishi, Yom Revi, Yom Shabbos. He gets a lump sum for the month. He gets a lump sum for the year.
I see. Lump sum. Okay. V'ayin be'acharonim shekasvu shenohagim lehakel lischor lishabasos lechud. Look. I don't know what look at the later authorities.
Right, the latter day. Look at the latter day authorities. Right, very good.
Latter day authorities that they wrote that it is customary to receive payment for Shabbos. What's lechud?
Separately.
So there's some source that says you can actually pay him for Shabbos by Shabbos.
Right. So then you take a look at the latter day authorities that they write that those that are noegim, meaning there are those that are noeg, there are those who are accustomed to be lenient and to hire specifically for Shabbosim, right?
Right.
Right. And you have to continue on with it.
V'hachoshesh l'divrei ha'osrin lo yitzov batechila.
Right. So, but even though they're meaning they don't need somebody to pray on the weekdays, right? So they only need him, and they're only hiring. They're being honest. They only need him to be praying or blowing for Rosh Hashanah. So they're being honest, and they're only hiring for the Shabbos or for the Rosh Hashanah. But yet they have to be choshesh for those who are aser. So therefore, what do? Lo yiktsuv b'tchila. Don't make a fixed sum. Don't make a fixed sum. This is a little bit what you were saying, right? Don't set a fixed sum.
I see. Uma shelokeach achar kach yesh lomar shehu derech matana. And that which shelokeach, that the purchaser,
And what he's going to receive, and that's what he's going to receive afterwards.
that which he will receive afterwards is what they say that it is in the way of a gift.
Right. So since they hired him specifically and say, listen, they came out straight, and this is most likely on the weekdays, not on Shabbos or Rosh Hashanah. They came out straight and said, listen, we want you to blow shofar for us, and we're hiring for this, and you'll be taken care of. You'll be taken care of, like you said. You'll be taken care of, right? So
Right.
what he's going to receive afterwards. So they come to him and they give him 500 shekels. You know, after when Tzom Gedalia they come, the president Shul comes to him and he gives him 500 shekels, right? And that's derech matana. Since it wasn't like a specific amount that was agreed to, right? So he could turn around and give him 10 shekels too, right?
Right.
Give him 10 shekels too. You know, here's a tip, 10 shekels. And he says, thank you, I'll give you a tip also. Don't run into icebergs on the ocean. That's a tip for you. So so he gets 10 shekels. So can he complain about it? So in base, like I said, in Basin, he can't really complain about it because he said we'll take care of you. So 10 shekels is taking care of him also, right? But so since it's derech matana, that would be a way to get around it in a specific way. Oh. But here, let's just finish up with this. What a midwife. Well, let's say you want to hire a obstetrician. A wife is giving birth, right? And you don't want to be relying on the hospital staff that might happen to be on that shift that day. You want to hire your own private doctor, your own private midwife, right? So Vadai Muteris Nikak Skar Shabbos. Yuledis definitely can receive a wage for Shabbos. So okay, you have to understand why. Why is Yuledis different? Maybe because there's a sakana involved. Okay, that's a whole different picture. We're not going to go into that too much right now. But for a mulet something which is obviously involving something. It's not only a mitzvah, it's also dealing with nefashos. So therefore, you can definitely pay. What about a moyel? Mishnah didn't mention about a moyel. Where you want a bris on Shabbos, right? A bris on Shabbos. So you want to pay the moel, right? So that's also a mitzvah. It's also a mitzvah. So you might have the yesh omrim that say it's mutter if it's derech mitzvah, but nevertheless, as the Mishnah Berura said, there's no siman bracha. You're not going to get a siman bracha, right? So there are a couple of questions which are still trying to work out here. It's like, what does it mean you're not going to see a siman bracha? That's open klali. But what does that mean in general? What does it mean you're not going to see a siman bracha? You're getting 500 shekels, right? What do you mean you're not going to see a siman bracha from it? You got 500 shekels in your hand. That's number one. What does it mean? What does it mean you're not going to get a siman bracha? Number two is when we say you're not going to have a siman bracha, does that mean that even if you do it in these permissible ways, meaning you don't set a fixed amount or you're hired for the year or for the month, right? Or like, let's say they also say for like if they hire somebody for Rosh Hashanah. So we say we're going to pay you for your practicing. We know you got to practice. You have to put in some time practicing. So we're not paying you for the blow on Rosh Hashanah. We're paying you to blow on on the weekdays in your practice sessions. We're paying you for that. Likewise, it's relevant when you hire, let's say, a caterer. You want to hire a caterer if you're making a kiddush, sheva brachos, or something on Shabbos. So you want to hire a caterer. So you make up with him that you're not really paying him for his work on Shabbos. You're paying for him for his preparation work during the week and his cleanup work, which is taking place on Motzi Shabbos. That's what he's really getting his pay for. I mean, we really understand he's really getting paid for the work that's being done on Shabbos. That's why you wanted to come, just like the moyel. You wanted to come on Shabbos to do the bris milah. But when he comes to visit the baby, usually the moyel comes to visit the baby the day before and sees him a day or two afterwards as well. So you really pay him for that time and that money. Right. So we have to see what it means. He doesn't see a siman bracha. And let's see. One second, Dalid. Right. Okay. So those things have to be understood a little bit better. I'm not sure if we'll have time today to go into it. So just therefore Lamaisa, like let's say a person is going to be hired to blow shofar on Rosh Hashanah. They're going to pay him money. They're going to pay him money. So obviously, number one, first and foremost, he's going to discuss. All these discussions have to take place on the weekday, not on Rosh Hashanah itself. Secondly, it should be preferably done in a way which the payment is being made not for the actual blowing on Rosh Hashanah, but the payment is being done for the preparation work, the practice that he's going to be putting in to blow properly on Rosh Hashanah. And also any other peripheral. Sometimes they make up a deal that they would the Baal Tukeh can buy a shofar for himself, and that will be they'll pay for buying the shofar. They'll pay for that, and then the Baal Tukeh can buy the shofar, and if he wants, he can keep it. He can sell it if he wants, whatever. So there was all possibilities of circumventing the difficulties of getting what we call Skar Shabbos. But again, we have a machlokus. The Machaber said, and the first opinion was that it's forbidden. The second opinion says it's permissible because they never made a gezerah on Skar Shabbos. Exactly what it means, the real question of what it means. The doesn't see a siman bracha. That if I have time to look today, I'll see if I can find a little definition of what that's supposed to be meaning and including in resolution. Okay, I guess that brings us to the end of today's Mr. Brewer.
Okay.
you, Rabbi.
Shay,
Okay, very good. Thank you, Lou. Thank you, Mayor. Hope
Thank
to see you both
you. Have a
tomorrow.
good day.
Right. Likewise, you too. Mr. Shem.